I know you've been reluctant to share, so all you got to do now is share this video, because I'm gonna do it for you. If you really think about it and ponder it, there's a lot of things in life we take for granted. For me, the biggest thing that we take for granted is ourselves. And I think for that reason, we take God for granted, or we discount God, or we don't believe in God, or we think it's foolish to talk about God because, we can't see him with our eyes. Ever since I was a kid, I believed in God. I knew he existed. I knew God existed when I was a small child. Just in my day-to-day, in my contemplations, life itself was not big enough, I don't want to say it's not meaningful enough, because life is very meaningful, but life in itself here on earth, and nothing that I could fathom, accomplishing or achieving was enough to justify our existence. It just was not enough. I don't really know how to explain it further than just saying that life itself was not enough. I just knew there was a deeper meaning to life. There was something more. And to circle back, just to go back to the point I was making, we take ourselves for granted. And what I mean by that is when you look at yourself and you really think about yourself and how little you have to do with anything regarding you or anyone else. But the fact that we are here, we are unique. We have the ability to be our own thinkers. We can move autonomously. We don't need anyone else. We have these thoughts. We can think critically. We are a very miraculous entity within ourselves. We're miraculous beings. And I think we take that for granted, and we go on living life and just looking at this world and wanting to acquire things and go places, which is all fine, but we take ourselves for granted, and what our being and the intricacies of us and our abilities, what that really means for the bigger picture. When you discount yourself, you automatically forego the path to God, because God created you in his image. He created us in his image, mankind. And every day he wants us to see him through the character, he wants us to see him through everything he's made. So as we marvel at the mountains, and we marvel at the ocean, and we marvel at the mind that creates the things around us, the mind that was developed by God and given to man, that he can take the materials, the raw materials and resources given by God, and mold them and meld them into the things we see around us. These cars that we're sitting in, these houses that are constructed, all of these buildings that we're like, wow, look at that building. God gave man that mind. It's such an elementary concept that gets overlooked because we overthink. But we have to realize how little we have to do with anything that is made, even the things we ourselves created, because we had nothing to do with the thing that gives us the ability to create it. My simple message today with this video, my simple word today is that God is real. God is real. Everything he has put around you, everything he's given you, and even yourself is enough to solidify that fact. And so I'm encouraging you today, if you're watching and listening to this video, to take a long look at yourself. Think deeply about who you are, what you're able to do, the fact that you're even here, the fact that, people are debating how we got here, and ask yourself how majestic it is that you're even here right now to live this life in this unsearchable, humongous universe that we're in. Even on this earth alone, the brain that you have right now in your head is but a grain of sand, and that's putting it generously. But your brain is a grain of sand if the universe was an entire sandy beach. Like, your mind is so minuscule but so great. But I think we often try to take that mind, which relatively speaking is small, and we try to outthink the obvious. And the obvious is that we have nothing to do with ourselves being here. We have nothing to boast about. We can be proud of ourselves, and we should love ourselves because God made us and he made us valuable, but we have nothing to do with creating ourselves. Our genes, our looks, we don't have anything to do with that. We don't have anything to do with the world around us. And I think that in the Bible, where it says you must become like a child to enter the kingdom of heaven, you must, to really have faith, you must become like a child, because there is an element of faith that requires you to put your high view of yourself in the back seat. That doesn't mean to put away your critical thinking. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't be a person of deep thought and contemplation, but it does mean that there comes a point, as it pertains to a God who is so great and unsearchable, who has created everything, it comes a point where you must put your own intellect on the back burner in order to step into the wisdom and the reality of God. I know some of you have been reluctant to share your faith, and I'm here to tell you that God is real, and the way to God is through the Son, which in the Word it says that Jesus told us, I am not a way, I am the way. I'm the way, the truth, and the life, and no person will get to the Father except but through me. Even if you don't accept that right now, I want you to ponder, and I want you to look around everything that you see and truly ask yourself, is this not indicative of a creator? Do I truly believe that I'm a mistake, or that I'm just some cosmic coincidence? Am I this cosmic coincidence that somehow, through some way that is unexplainable, has made it here? Ask yourself, why am I willing to believe everything except but God? Why am I willing to believe, oh yeah, there are aliens, yet we never see them, but I won't believe in God because I don't see them? Ask yourself why you believe a scientist who was born the same year as you, but you refuse to believe a historic document that has lasted year over year and has prophecies that are being fulfilled. Ask yourself why you're willing to, fall into the words of mankind, but you won't believe in the God who made you. I often use this analogy to speak on how we're created beings, and we're not cosmic coincidences, that we're not astrological accidents, but that we were created with purpose. And there's a highly regarded painting called the Mona Lisa. I'm sure you've heard of it. If not, look it up. It's just one of the most famous paintings, works of art in the world. But thinking of yourself in this world as an accident or something that was just created in some big bang or some chance occurrence is like spilling a cup of Kool-Aid on the floor and it creating perfectly the Mona Lisa. It's just not going to happen. And the question of then who created God is the same question of how did anything get created from nothing? So it's not that there's any question that trumps either side of belief or disbelief, but God has given you everything that you need to at least start your faith journey, and not the least of which is yourself. So I encourage you today to get in the mirror, look at yourself, think about all you've been through, think about the connections you've come across, the struggles that have built you, the dreams that you have, everything that makes you who you are from the inside out. All of the thoughts, all of the dreams, all of the aspirations, what you've accomplished so far, what you've been through, what you've made it through, what you've learned through your own mistakes. That stuff is coming from somewhere divine, and it's coming from God and the spirit he put within you. It's the same thing mankind tries to create over and over again. AI, we're so scared of AI and we're so scared of all of these advances, but the bottom line is nothing can create what God has already created in you. Nothing can recreate that. I don't care how many cameras and computers and algorithms you put together and how many robots you create. I'll never be afraid of those, because they can never recreate what God himself has put a patent on and created. It will never be created again in the way that God has ordained it. And he's put it within you. That's enough to at least start your faith journey. And from there, I encourage you to actually read and grow through the word, Start at the Gospels to learn who Jesus is and hear his words and let them sit in your heart with an open heart. Even if you have put your flag firmly into the soil of atheism or, whatever the case may be, I'm encouraging you to do that today. And if you're somebody who has a belief in God, but doesn't know where to start and doesn't know where to go, there are so many resources out here, but I'm going to encourage you to read your Bible first. Read Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, read Proverbs to learn about the wisdom and look in that wisdom in Proverbs and truly ask yourself, if the entire world lived by this wisdom, what kind of world would it be in comparison to the world that we live in currently? And I'm going to end by saying this: God is real. Jesus is real. Look no further than yourself and everything that God has created and put around you, and start your faith journey. Listen, you really only have today. You really only have today. The Bible says your life is nothing but a vapor. You're here one day and you're gone the next. And we hear that all the time. I just talked to such and such. I just text them. I saw them the other day and now they're no longer on this planet with you. Life is a vapor. I don't care how many blueberries and how much spinach you eat. You cannot stop the natural progression of life, and you do not know what your life will be. Don't waste time. I don't care what you accomplish. You can't accomplish enough to make up for the loss of your soul. I know you've been reluctant to share this, so I'm going to do it for you. Like, comment, subscribe, and then most importantly, share this with somebody else. Comment down below. I'm going to catch you in the next video. Peace.